And welcome you watching the Monday edition of This is Exclusive with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I come to you with two stories. As the war rages on, Israeli commanders are now carrying out raids in Lebanon. Does Israel want to continue with what they did back in 2006? Carry out a ground invasion? Is that a possibility? Tonight on This is Exclusive, we get you a ground report coming in from Beirut. What's the situation 48 hours after Hezbollah chief was eliminated? Not just that. The other story that we're going to get to you tonight, hate preacher Zakir Naik, who's been charge-sheeted here in India, has been handed out a complete red carpet in Pakistan. We've told you many a times how exactly Zakir Naik has been linked to the Pakistanis and the fact that the ISI has played a very important role in creating this man called Zakir Naik, the man who was behind radicalizing several individuals who were found behind the Easter bombings that took place in Sri Lanka. All this and much more on this edition of This is Exclusive. But first, let's take you through the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Israel launches attacks on Houthi targets in Yemen. Hezbollah has now confirmed a 7th top commander was killed in the airstrikes. Amit Shah slams Mallikarjun Kharge over won't die until PM out of power remark. Says Kharge's comments show the hate and fear the Congress has for the Prime Minister. Union Minister Kiran Rijiju warns vote back politics no longer finds place in this country. Nameplate diktat row escalates as the rift within the Congress deepens. Himachal Pradesh Minister Vikramaditya Singh, after being rebuked by the Congress, says party line is important, but so is the state. Fugitive radical preacher Zakir Naik arrives in Pakistan, will deliver Islamic lectures and lead Friday prayers in major cities in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, when Israel opened a new front attacking the Hezbollah, Israel's main objective was to eliminate the chief, Hassan Nasrallah, who's been at the helm of affairs for almost 3 decades. But was there an end game in sight? Israel says, just like Hamas, their objective is to ensure that Hezbollah is no longer a threat to the world, not just to Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, what has essentially happened is that over the last few days, the entire leadership of Hezbollah has been completely eliminated. Israel says this is a repeat of what they've done as far as Hamas is concerned. What we are going to do to you right now is going to take you through the entire leadership. Why exactly are we saying that the Hezbollah perhaps now has become toothless, and what impact does it really have on Iran? Remember, the allegation that has been leveled against Iran is that the proxy war that was being carried out by Iran through the Hezbollah perhaps will no longer have the same sting. Let's just take you through the leadership that has been completely decimated as far as the Hezbollah leaders are concerned. On your screens right now, starting from Hassan Nasrallah, who's, of course, the General Secretary, was the General Secretary for almost 3 decades. The first column that we're going to take you through is the topmost military commanders of the Hezbollah, starting with Ibrahim Kabisi, that's the senior official of Hezbollah, killed just about 48 hours ago. Ibrahim Akil, top commander of the Hezbollah Jihad Council. Fawad Shukr, who's the right-hand man of the Hezbollah chief Syed Hassan Nasrallah. He too has been taken down. Along with him is Ali Karki, the commander of the Southern Front. Just under them, there are 2 other leaders, Mohammad Nasir as well as Talib Abdullah. All of them have been eliminated. Let's take you through on the left of your screen. Nabil Kauk, the Executive Council member. Remember, the Executive Council member has roughly about 4 to 5 members, of which Nabil Kauk has already been eliminated. Mohammad Hussein Strour, the commander of the Aerial Command. Ibrahim Kubasi, Commander Rocket Division, and Ahmad Wabi, that's the Commander Radwan Special Forces. Remember, the Radwan Special Forces was the first to have been completely eliminated. Let's just take you through the other leaders who have been killed so far in the various strikes that have been carried out. Hamas, of course. As far as Hamas is concerned, there too, remember, not just the political, not just the military, I beg your pardon, but the political wing of Hamas has also been decimated. Starting with Ismail Haniyeh, that's the chairman Hamas Political Bureau, along with the deputy Hamas chief Saleh Al-Aruri, Ali Qadi and Muetz Eid. Now they were all over a period of time, roughly about within a period of 6 months, they were actually eliminated. Similarly, we have 4 other commanders of the Hamas to have been eliminated. Ladies and gentlemen, there's been this entire argument that has been put forth as far as the activities, the terrorist activities of the Hezbollah itself. While within Iran, within Lebanon, there has largely been this entire debate of the fight against the Jewish state for which the Hezbollah has been at the forefront. But let's take you through the other graphic that we're just going to put up right now with regards to the number of activities in which the Hezbollah was actually found involved, starting with the attack that took place in America. That is the reason why. Remember, the Americans have been saying that the Hezbollah has blood on their hand. Now, that was the accusation that was leveled against the Hezbollah. Let me also quickly go across to my colleague Ali Hamoush, who's joining us from Beirut, giving us a sense of what's really happening on the ground. Let me first go across to Ali, getting us the latest details. Ali, first, give us a sense of what's really happening on the ground. The airstrikes continued. Israel says that they have eliminated the entire leadership of the Hezbollah. A short while back, a report essentially came in that there were certain Israeli commanders who were carrying out raids inside Lebanon. Are we staring at yet another attempt by the Israelis to carry out a ground invasion?
First of all, good evening to you and to the public TV viewers. I'll start answering the question by repeating what Sheikh Naik Qasim, the deputy chief of Hezbollah, said today, that the Hezbollah leadership is not suffering from a vacuum. On the contrary, every leader from Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah to all of the other officials, whether they be military or political, are leaders who have vice presidents, who have alternatives, and who have alternatives for the alternatives in case a massive attack or assassination attack occurs, which is what happened. Now, you showed us the sort of the grid, let's say, at first glance, that the top brass of Hezbollah has been eliminated, but that grid is almost specifically was designed by the Israeli intelligence or by the Israeli media office to showcase that this is the sole senior leadership of Hezbollah at a time when it's not. You mentioned, for example, Sheikh Nabil Abu and the Executive Council of Hezbollah, which has its own head, for example, Sayyid Hassan Safiuddin, or for example, Sheikh Naik Qasim, or many of the other officials and top military commanders have not been eliminated. But Israel is attempting to create this PR war, this media war, telling us that everyone has been eliminated. What we've seen from Hezbollah on the ground says otherwise. Hezbollah on the military level has been operating at the same pace, and here, once again, I'm quoting from Sheikh Naik Qasim, the deputy chief, who gave his first speech the day after the assassination, the martyrdom of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, and said that Hezbollah is still working at the same pace with the same level of determination, the same level of deterrence. The plan has not changed on the military level nor the logistical level. The individuals can and will be replaced. It is a path. The martyrdom for Hezbollah is a path to which most of them will go through. But eventually, any change in the plans, on the ground plans, is something up to the leadership. And so far, there has been no need. Assassinations do not alter the political and military reality of Hezbollah. Now, concerning the ground invasion has been something that has been trumped many times by the Israeli media and by the Western media, and we've seen U.S. President Biden saying that this is that he hopes it doesn't happen, but we've seen Biden dismiss his promises multiple times and have and performing no pressure whatsoever on Benjamin Netanyahu's government. Whether he's unable to or he's unwilling to is a matter to be discussed. But the ground invasion is most certainly, whether it happens or not, a major loss for Israel, because over the years we've seen how Hezbollah has mastered ground commands and ground combat.
Ali, can I just request
Lebanon,
you to, I'm sorry to intervene here.
Of the Lebanese forefront. So it would not be in Israel's favor to conduct a ground invasion, no matter what they say about Hezbollah's leadership.
Ali, I'll just request you to stay on with me. Meanwhile, we'll just try and see if we can fix your audio line. There seems to be some problem with your audio line, and we'll take our viewers through the latest details coming in from Beirut. In fact, as the operations that are carried out in South Lebanon, to our colleague Ali Hamoush getting us the latest from Lebanon. Ali, we'll try and just fix that line with you till the time we get some more reports right now and get you a sense of what's really happening on the other side too. We'll try and first fix Ali Hamoush's line from Beirut. Meanwhile, my colleague Yeshaya is also joining us from Israel. Yeshaya, a short while back, a report actually came in that Israeli commandos were carrying out raids in Lebanon. A question that I've asked our colleague coming in from Beirut. Is there any clarity with regards to what's the objective that the IDF has right now after eliminating the entire leadership of the Hezbollah?
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, I think there is clarity. There is the long-standing UN Security Council decision 1701 that states that Hezbollah must retreat north of the Litani River. So it will be a safe distance from the Israeli border, so it cannot carry out the kind of attacks that it's been carrying out in recent months upon Israel. You must remember that they have been shooting missiles, anti-tank missiles, drone warfare, incendiary devices, burning down forests, houses, killing Israeli civilians across the northern border. And the only way to keep Israeli civilians safe from such attacks and from invasion, ground invasion by the Radwan forces in South Lebanon is to keep them across the Litani River. In order to accomplish that, it is quite clear that Israel is headed for a ground invasion of Lebanon. We have to see how it will develop. We have to see how it will develop. Much of Hezbollah's most sophisticated missiles are located in underground silos, underground tunnels built by Iran and North Korea in north of Lebanon and in the Bekaa region. So it's unclear what the extent of the IDF invasion of Lebanon will be, but I think it's quite clear that there will be an invasion. And and at least some of the objectives are clear: pushing Hezbollah north of the Litani River. And the root cause of the issue is the Iranian tentacles, the Iranian proxy network surrounding Israel. And in order to completely solve the issue, Iran would have to be dealt with as well, but that is not on the agenda as of yet.
You to stay on with us as you get us the latest report coming in from Israel. Let me once again go back to my colleague joining us from Lebanon, getting us a ground report. Remember, the only Indian channel to be reporting from both sides, from Israel as well as Lebanon, to give you a 360-degree understanding of what's really happening on the ground. A short while back, Lebanese government had also indicated that there's been large-scale devastation that's taken place in Beirut after the strikes that were carried out. In fact, the numbers of those who've been injured runs into thousands. Ali, give us a sense of the kind of devastation that's taken place in some parts of Lebanon. Which are the worst hit areas now, and what's the kind of response really coming in from the Lebanese government?
So as Israel's tactic in Gaza and even sometimes at the West Bank unfolds once again in Lebanon, and it is worth noting here that the tactic that Israel has adopted in Gaza for the past 11, 12 months is actually called the Dahiya Doctrine. The Dahiya Doctrine, which was implemented for the first time during the Ehud Olmert's government, leading government in the 2006 July war, where Hezbollah unanimously won the war. They attempted to create a sense of shock, a sense of awe, akin to what the U.S. administration did in Iraq in 2003, by attempting to level down entire cities or entire parts of the city. And what they targeted during 2006, what they targeted in Gaza in 2023, 2024, and what they're targeting now in Beirut are almost strictly civilian regions, civilian areas. I know that firsthand because a lot of my colleagues live there, journalists who have had their houses decimated, friends who are journalists who have been killed. And so there is no strategic approach when it comes to bombing these areas. The destruction in the south of Lebanon and east of Lebanon in the Bekaa and Baalbek region in the east, as well as the southern suburbs of Beirut, and most recently yesterday night in Beirut, has been large. It is a large disruption. This is the Israeli doctrine to attempt to perform as much destruction upon civilian lives in order to splinter the military command with from the popular support. The damage has been large. People have been displaced to a large extent. We're talking about almost 1 million displaced from the east bloc, from the south of Lebanon, and from the southern suburbs. But the government has had an emergency plan that unfolded rather quickly upon the beginning of the Israeli aggressions. And so far, it has been able to contain a large number of the displaced independent organizations, independent groups, NGOs, which are grassroots movements, not foreign NGOs. Unfortunately, the foreign NGOs have decided not to help the displaced, but grassroots movements and NGOs and groups, independent groups, have come to the rescue. They have been assisting the government in supporting the people displaced, as well as securing them places to stay, the food, the sheltering, as well as all their daily needs. So thus far, the situation is still somewhat balanced. We've had an Israeli attack against an army soldier, a Lebanese army soldier, barely 2 hours ago, an hour and a half ago. He's been martyred. He's been killed by the Israeli attack. So it remains to be seen how the government will be responding to this new type of aggression that is clearly out of line when it comes to the claim of fighting Hezbollah.
Well, thank you very much, Ali, for getting us the latest details from Beirut. Our reporter on the ground getting you a sense of what's really happening after the relentless strikes that have been carried out by the Israelis. In fact, as we understand a short while back, a confirmation coming in from the US officials that raids are now being carried out by the Israeli Defense Forces. So are we really looking at yet another escalation in the war? Thank you very much, Ali Hamosh, joining us from Beirut, Yeshaya joining us from Israel. Thank you very much. Well, shifting focus now to the other big story that we're getting to you tonight, coming in from Pakistan. Hate preacher Zakir Naik has been received by the Pakistanis. This for what is being called as lectures to be given by the hate preacher in 3 different cities of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, in the charge sheet that was basically filed by the Indian agencies, Zakir Naik was being confronted with evidence that he was been working with Pakistan. In fact, now it is an indication that for the first time since the time he left from India, this is Zakir Naik's first visit to Pakistan, where he's going to address Friday prayers, congregations, and also deliver talks in Islamabad, Karachi, as well as Lahore during his stay till about 28th of October. In fact, the Ministry of Religious Affairs has confirmed that his schedule as part of a broader outreach to religious audiences in Pakistan. Let me quickly go across to my colleague Kaswar, who's joining us from Islamabad. In fact, Kaswar, as I understand, this is his first visit to Pakistan. Here is a man who has been charge-sheeted by Indian agencies. In fact, there is evidence to the effect that there are individuals who were radicalized by the teachings of Zakir Naik, those who were involved in the Easter bombings that took place in Sri Lanka. How exactly is Pakistan really allowing this to happen?
Well, Shaman, let me tell you that Dr. Zakir Naik arrived in Islamabad this morning, and he was greeted by some of the big guns in Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's government. Let me tell you that the chairman of youth program of Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Rana Mashood Hussain, he was the one who actually received Dr. Zakir Naik at Islamabad airport. And along with him, there were a number of another government servants, which showed that the government of Pakistan was really on board when it's come to invite Dr. Zakir Naik in Pakistan, although they did not announce it in public. First. Secondly, Dr. Zakir, according to my sources, he will be staying in Pakistan for at least 30 days. I mean, he will be here in Pakistan until 28th of October 2024. And he will be delivering sermons in Islamabad, in Lahore, and Karachi. These are the three big cities where his elaborative plans have been chalked out with the consent, probably with the consent of the government of Pakistan as well. And interesting is that the government of Pakistan has not announced, has not accepted that it was either it has invited or not. But on the other hand, earlier in the morning, as soon as Dr. Zakir Naik headed towards Pakistan, he announced on Twitter, X, that he was invited by the government of Pakistan. Now, here, a few questions remain that whether he was invited by the Pakistani government and Zakir Naik traveled to Pakistan on the special arrangement, or because we all know that his Indian passport has been confiscated. And on the other hand, he has been living in Malaysia as a permanent resident, but that is not a valid document on which Dr. Zakir Naik can travel to Pakistan. So it is also a mystery. But the thing is, the government of Pakistan has not accepted, but on the other hand, elaborative plans have been chalked out by the religious, the big guns, religious personality in Karachi, Lahore, and Pakistan. And equally, the government of Punjab, according to my sources, is on board when it's come to welcome Dr. Zakir Naik in Lahore, Shaman.
Thank you very much, Kasper, for getting us that latest update from Islamabad as Zakir Naik, the hate preacher, begins his tour of Pakistan tomorrow. Questions still remain unanswered. Remember, a question was also sent to the Malaysian government by Republic TV with regards to the role of Zakir Naik and why exactly has the government really not acted upon the request that was made by the Indian government. That's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. In fact, we'll be back tomorrow at the same time with more exclusive stories.